from the Spanish word torta, which means round cake, and having 1,000 U.S. companies devoted to just making them, tortillas, today on Wake Up, Smell the. Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna make you a tortilla. What? Get off the stage? Yeah, okay. Let's cook some food. Terrible Beard and Ukulele Solo, brought to you by Quarantine 2020. So I started out with my all-purpose flour and sifted it. You don't have to sift it if you don't want to. I just like to do that to get rid of any impurities or big lumps of anything that might be in there. And then I added my salt and my baking powder. With the shortening, I decided to go with the method of cutting it in, much like you would with biscuits, until it made something like a crumb-like consistency. And now we need to dig out that center part to create a well in the middle for our water. The water was room temperature, maybe a little warmer, just to help with that Crisco so it wouldn't be all clumpy and cold. I put it into the middle, and you just run your finger around the inner wall of the flour mixture to get it incorporated into the water. And then you can push the outer wall into it. What we're looking for here is a stickier, kind of tacky dough ball. And we want that dough ball to be able to kind of clean all the walls of the bowl, which I show you here. And what we need to do is set up a lightly floured board and knead our dough for, is it knead or kneaded? I don't know. Our dough for about 3 minutes until it's nice and smooth, and then put that little dough baby to sleep for about 2 hours so that it can relax. After 2 hours, we need to wake our lazy dough baby up and put it to work, which is making it into a Play-Doh snake is the best way I can say it. I always feel silly saying it, but make it into a big Play-Doh snake. I cut mine into two, what I felt like equal enough parts, and made two Play-Doh snakes out of that. I rolled them until I felt like they were about the same length. And so when it comes to cutting things like this into equal enough portions, what we want to do is make a half out of the dough, and then make a half of that half, and then make a half of that half, and half of that half, and so so on and so forth. Even got myself with that one. But don't worry if it's not perfect. We ain't inviting Ryan Reynolds over for dinner tonight, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And we just need to make these portions of dough into dough balls, which will eventually become our tortillas, which brings us to the main event. So let's lightly flour our board, and what you can do is take your rolling pin and just roll that in the flour there, so you don't have to get your hands all messy and run it all over the pin. Whew, I'm having tough words today. And remember, when it comes to rolling pins, you don't want to do that kind of pushing dead into the middle, rocking back and forth. You want to do a nice smooth motion from one end to the other until it evens out all of the ends or edges or whatever the heck you call the side of a circle. And another good rule of thumb I always feel like when it comes to rolling things out like this is to give it just a little stretch so that it can relax into more of the shape that you started with when you finish rolling. And I put small squares of wax paper in between these circles, and as long as they're floured properly, they shouldn't stick together too hard. You can kind of layer them together with some of them touching each other. And so after much trial and error, this is my first time actually making tortillas from scratch as well. I found the best way was to take a paper towel and dab it in some canola oil or whatever vegetable oil, and I had a medium to medium high heat. I put the tortilla on it and waited about 2 minutes if I were guessing. And it's when you see the bubbles there, it's good. That's a good time to flip it. It means that it's cooking from one side over to the other. And I let that sit again for about 2 minutes. So just to show you one more time, and also to show you that I'm a super tough guy who doesn't need any utensils to flip these things. Remember, 2 minutes on one side, flip it, and then 2 minutes on the other side. And just to show you both sides, this is after 2 minutes for me on both sides. Now these guys are ready for your tacos or burritos, or if you're a 35-year-old man-child who's about to sit down to watch the latest episode of SpongeBob SquarePants and forgot to buy bread earlier, peanut butter and jelly roll-ups in a tortilla. Thank you for joining me. See you on the next one. Hey, thanks for watching that video. There's more like it down here. And if you enjoy them, please don't forget to subscribe. Till next time, you came, you sauteed, you conquered.